So I feel that it's important to do this one today or right now also because it's so prevalent in my mind. Love, right? And feeling it, living it, falling for it, finding love. My whole life I've been great at getting the girl, right? Getting to a point that the interest was there and on both sides, just by being myself to the best of my ability at that time. The reality is, since I've always had that void and I've never felt love, well, I never allowed myself to feel love based on how my childhood, right? I just didn't allow it. And I never felt it. There were people that got hurt along the way. And it was never with malintent. I was never being malicious, but it was true, right? And I hurt people and I confused people. And then I would abandon myself. And during that period of time when I would abandon myself, I would get overwhelmed in my feels, right? My feelings. And I would just start spewing, like overwhelming and suffocating people on how I feel because I didn't feel like I was getting heard or I didn't feel like I was clear or I didn't, because I wasn't allowing myself to feel it in return, I wasn't feeling it back. So at this point, what I've realized is I can't love until I love myself. And truth of the matter is, at this point, with all the stuff I'm going through, I have found the person that I want to be with and I love for the rest of my life. And I have never felt like this ever. And in her way, she makes me feel the same way. But the reality is, it's got to create something to interdependency, to where we're both independent, but while also being together. So rather than two forming one, it has to be two separate entities forming one larger entity while we're both allowed to go our way or be our way and be ourselves and our best selves. You know, when you find that person that lifts you up with simple words or can motivate you, inspire you, and bring you to better levels for yourself, not for their own interest, that's the person, right? And for me, I found that. And the hardest part of this whole process is I have to put that on hold to be able to attempt to love myself and become whole, right? I'm an amazing human being, and I realize that. But at the same time, I also need to get to the point where I love myself and really love myself. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I also need to process my emotions, allow my emotions, and not just spew my emotions and bury people that I care about. It's never been my intent, but it's what I do. And I saw the patterns, I saw the trends, I analyzed it, broke it down. I made amends to three different women yesterday, right? And it's simple, and it made me feel much better about myself. Not better about myself, but at least proud of myself that I owned it and that now I see it and I'm addressing it. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still say things I shouldn't say. I used to say I used to have, my foot in my mouth at all times. It was a running joke between me and my friends because if there was one person that could walk into any bar and walk out with any phone number, no matter who she was, it was me. And I proved it many, many times. But then within a few days, I would screw it up somehow, any way I possibly could. Because I would say one stupid thing and it would just blow it all up. And what I've realized is I abandon myself and I immediately try to be something else for someone else that's not genuine to me. And when that gets torn up and you start pulling yourself apart like that, and you remove the best parts of yourself, you're losing everything. And it took me 9 years of being with the wrong person in a marriage that I got my three children. So that's the extent I'll go into that right now. But it took going through that to understand and to really see what I had, what I didn't have, and what I want. And I still confused, still had self worth issues, still have no value. I did never valued myself. Today I'm not perfect, but I'm starting to build those things, and I'm really working hard on those things. And I'm working at turbo pace because I'm isolated and I don't have distractions other than my three kids, right? So whenever I get a moment like right now, I'm taking action and I'm doing the best I can. And I really just wanted to say, sometimes in love or with love, you've got to put it on the back burner until you love yourself. So that's all I wanted to say today. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have a good one.